Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Scott's Selections here for Sunday, June 23rd. I'm aware that the lighting over here might not be the greatest, but I decided to record this video extra early since the games in baseball were mostly taking place at 1 or 4 p.m. So I figured instead of giving you a 2-hour notice before when the game's actually going to take place, I might as well make this video bright and early, just so you'd have extra time to hear the breakdown before putting in your picks. So apologies about the lighting, but I also have some people sleeping in my house, so I didn't want to wake them up. So I decided to use the downstairs den instead of using my usual recording room. But with that being said, we'll quickly recap what happened yesterday. We had no plays of the day, which was unfortunate because all of the leans that I had ended up winning, or the main leans, I should say, and the main one that I was going to give out was actually on one of the UFC fights. If you saw my Twitter, you'd know that I cashed with Korean Zombie on the money line. Thought about giving that out, decided not to. But with that being said, we're not counting that towards the personal record, and we'll be diving back into the baseball card today. So the play of the day that we're going to be going with here is going to be on the Atlanta Braves money line against the Washington Nationals, and that game should be taking place roughly 1:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the line we're going to be using is plus 101, which is available at UWager. For this matchup, you will have Mike Soroka versus Austin Voth. Mike Soroka's been fantastic so far in his first full MLB season, as he is currently 8-1 with a 2.12 ERA. Definitely a candidate for the NL Cy Young Award. However, he's even been better on the road this season, as he is currently 4-0 with a whopping 1.11 ERA away from home this season. Insane numbers. I expect him to pitch really well in this game. And he's going to go up against Austin Voth. If you don't know who Austin Voth is, he is a career minor leaguer. He's 26 years old, but he has pitched in he started 2 MLB games, 1-1 with a 6.57 ERA. But in the minors, he is 36-48 with a 3.68 ERA. So he's not successful in the majors in his career, not successful in the minors. And I expect him to struggle against an Atlanta Braves team that absolutely crushed yesterday and scored 13 runs. Not to mention the fact that the Nationals' bullpen is atrocious. The Nationals were in the middle of a 5-game winning streak. I did like the way they were playing. However, they have been very streaky this season. And usually after a long winning streak, they usually compound that with a long losing streak to try to balance out. Overall, the Braves are in first place in the division for a reason. They're 45-32. They're 5.5 games up in the division. And I think yesterday was a big deal for them as they were able to rally by scoring 4 runs in the 7th and 8th inning separately. So I think the Braves lineup will continue to get it going against this minor league pitcher who's just called up for today. And Soroka, at the same point, has been NL Cy Young material, and I expect him to continue his dominance against the Nationals. And even if this game is going to be relatively close, then the Nationals' bullpen is always in danger of blowing whatever lead they might have. So I think that the Braves should definitely not be an underdog here. I think they should be a favorite. I expect money to pour in on the Braves right before first pitch. I would not be surprised to see the Braves close roughly minus 110, minus 120 favorites. But that's one of the beauties of the MLB overnight is the fact that the lines that are originally posted might not make much sense. And I think that with the Braves at plus 101, you're getting a tremendous amount of value on the money line there. So that will be the play of the day. Moving on to the rest of the baseball card, you have the Marlins going for the sweep against the Philadelphia Phillies with De Los Santos versus Yamamoto. I have to lean to the Marlins here. Phillies have played some of the worst baseball I've seen all year from them, as they have lost 6 straight and are in danger of getting swept by one of the worst teams in the league. Yamamoto has been very solid this season, although it was mostly against the Cardinals. He still has good stuff. And based on how the Phillies lineup has been performing lately, I am in no position of backing them anytime soon. So I would lean to the Marlins in that one. Moving on, you have Toronto versus Boston. Very entertaining game yesterday as Toronto was able to erase a 6-run deficit and escape with a 1-run win. In terms of this game, you have Stroman versus Porcello. I lean to the over 10 here. Stroman has been pretty solid this season, but it's in Fenway Park, and the Red Sox offense has been pretty solid at home. Porcello was decent a couple starts ago, but he has struggled so far this season. And I think that both bullpens are also atrocious. Barnes, I don't even know why the Red Sox continue to use him. He continues to blow games left and right. But for me, I think this game will go over the 10, or you still have 9.5 available at Heritage. I think that is good value, as I will go up to 10. I would lean to the over there. Moving on, you have the Tigers versus the Indians. Indians going for a sweep with Plesak versus Norris. In terms of this game, I lean to the under 9. You had a 2-0 game yesterday. Detroit can't score. Cleveland's offense has been inconsistent. Plesak has been very solid so far since being called up to the majors. And Daniel Norris, his record's not great, but his ERA is pretty good. So I'll personally lean to the under there. Atlanta, I already gave out for the play of the day. Moving on, you have the Padres versus the Pirates with Lucchesi versus Brault. In terms of this game, I would lean to the over 9 here. He had 9 runs in yesterday's game. Lucchesi was very solid in his last start against the Brewers. Brault has overall been average, but he was good in his last start. I think both the lineups will keep it going in this one. I'll lean to the over 9, and both bullpens are also not much to write home about. So I'll lean to the over 9 in that one. Moving on, you have the Yankees going for the sweep against the Houston Astros following a very thrilling game yesterday. You have Happ versus Verlander. In terms of this game, I would have to lean to the under 9.5. In terms of who I'd actually back in this game, I would lean to the Astros, but the Yankees have been rolling, and Happ's been pitching really well lately. And Houston, I know Altuve came back. Springer's still out. Correa's still out. This lineup is definitely not as dangerous as it once was. Verlander's still probably the favorite to win the AL Cy Young Award. So, and Happ's been good lately. So for me, I think that 9.5 is too high of a total, and I will lean to the under in that one. Moving on, you have the Brewers versus the Reds. Brewers finally got off the slump as they were able to beat the Reds yesterday. You have Woodruff versus DeSclafani. I will lean to the over 8.5. I know Woodruff's been solid this season, but when these teams come together, you tend to see a decent amount of runs, and I think 8.5 is too low of a total for these two teams. So I will lean to the over in that one. Moving on, you have Homer Bailey Day versus Michael Pineda today, and they're against each other, so that'll be a fun time. Lean to the over 10. In terms of the sides, I would lean to Minnesota, but it's a very small lean as I really don't like Pineda, and Homer Bailey has pitched well his last couple of starts. But the Twins offense woke up yesterday in extra innings. They were able to win, and I like the Twins in this one, scoring at least 6 runs. And I think the Royals will score a decent amount of runs as well. Lean to the over 10 in that one. Moving on, you have the Mets versus the Cubs with DeGrom versus Hamels. No total has been posted for this one, but I will lean to the Mets as they are also going for a rare road sweep against the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley. Mets offense look great. Pete Alonso homered again yesterday, tied the Mets franchise rookie record with 26 home runs. Cole Hamels has been pretty solid this season. DeGrom was fantastic in his last start against Atlanta. I think he will keep it going. I don't like the way the Cubs have played lately. Lean to the Mets in that one. Moving on, you have the Rangers versus the White Sox with Nova versus Sampson. Lean to the under 11.5. Total's been roughly around 11 or 11.5 in every game in this series, and it has gone under in the first 2 games. I think that trend will continue, and I will lean to the under 11.5 there. Moving on, you have Oakland versus Tampa Bay with Stanek versus Anderson. The line is not out yet for that one, but I would lean to the under in that one. Moving on, you have Arizona in danger of getting swept by San Francisco. You have Anderson versus Kelly. I'm actually leaning to the Giants here. Giants, believe it or not, have actually played decent baseball over the last month. I know the record's still terrible because of the beginning they had, but San Francisco's actually played decently in the last month, and the Diamondbacks have struggled since the end of that Colorado series. So for me, I'll lean to the Giants and I'll lean to the over. Moving on, you have the Orioles versus the Mariners. Orioles finally won after a 10-game losing streak as the Mariners continue to struggle so far this season. You have Kikuchi versus Genoa. Lean to the over 9 in that one. I don't really like either pitcher. Kikuchi was good in his first couple of MLB starts, has struggled ever since. And Genoa does not really have very dynamic stuff. And both bullpens are terrible. Lean to the over there. Moving on, you have the Dodgers versus the Rockies. Dodgers going for a sweep after another walk-off win yesterday. I will lean to the over 8.5. You have Sanzatella versus Maeda. I think both pitchers have been pretty solid this season, but I definitely think the offense will get back on the right track on Sunday. Lean to the over 8.5. And lastly, you have the night game, which is the Los Angeles Angels versus the St. Louis Cardinals with Mikolas versus Skaggs. I will personally lean to the Cardinals in this one. Mikolas was very solid in his last start, and the Cardinals, believe it or not, are only 1 game out of the division lead, which is kind of shocking because the NL Central has been so close, yet no team has actually been able to break away at this point in time. Cubs and Brewers threatened to break away a couple times, but they've been in slumps, and the Cardinals have been heating up lately. And meanwhile, the Angels, well, they're only on primetime TV because Mike Trout plays there, and he's been rolling. Skaggs has been pretty good, but overall, the Cardinals won yesterday. I think they'll win again today. Lean to the Cardinals there. But before we conclude today's video, quick reminder of our sponsor, PointsBet, online sportsbook in New Jersey. up to 2 risk-free bets up to $1,000, which is a great deal for new members. So if you end up betting $1,000 on 2 separate games today and you end up losing, then you get your money back and don't have to worry about rebuilding your entire bankroll. But with that being said, the play of the day will be on the Atlanta Braves full game money line, which is available at plus 101 at UWager at the time of recording of roughly 5:05 Eastern time. So with that being said, sorry about the lighting, but I want to get this video out early and I want to make sure I didn't wake anybody up. So I hope you don't mind that. And with that being said, I hope all of you, have a very nice Sunday and good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.